it do, style crew? It's your girl JayStyles, and I'm back with another video. So here we have the front, and here we have the back. Now let's get started. All right, guys. So jumping right into this tutorial, you will need Red Heart Super Saver yarn. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite kind of yarn. It's just the yarn that like comes in a bigger size, so I like to use it. And that's what we'll be using for this project. And then we'll be using our 6.5 millimeter hook or a K hook. We're gonna create our slip knot, and this is how I like to create my slip knot. I wrap around 2 fingers, I bring my tail in the middle of my circle, and then I pull up. So that's how I create my slip knots. I've been doing foundation chains since I learned how to do them, and that's just how I like to do my projects now. But if you're not comfortable with foundation chains, we need 100 stitches to start off for this small medium size. So I'm going to show you guys a small swatch of what I'm going to be doing for the bottom skirt, and then how we'll be working this project moving forward. So we're going to chain 3, turn our work to the back side so we can see, and you can see there's back loops here. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook right here. Make sure that I get just under that back loop and not under the other braids. So we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and only pull through the first loop. So this creates our chain for the bottom that we're going to keep inserting to, while this is going to make our double crochet. So then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, then we're going to yarn over again and pull through our last 2. So I kind of show you guys how to make foundation chains in every tutorial that I do that I'm using them. And I think this is the last one I'm going to show you guys. And this is just what we're going to be doing moving forward. So we're going to yarn over again. So I like to put it on its side and see that I have like, looks like a chain right here. And we're going to insert under that loop. And make sure you get under, so you make sure you have that chain. And you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first one only. See, I almost pulled through the second one. Pull through the first one only, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, and one more time, we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so I'm going to make a few more of these. I need 100 in total for this pattern, but I'm going to make a few more of these, and I'm going to show you guys on a smaller scale what we're going to be doing, and then you can translate it into your bigger scale. So I'm going to do a few more of these, and we're going to join in the round, and I'm going to show you guys how I make the skirt for this tutorial. All right, so I work up like this, so you should have something like this when you keep going. Like I said, we need 100 of these, and if you're not comfortable with these, you're going to chain 101, go into the second chain from the hook, and you're going to have the same amount of stitches that we have here. So in order to join my round, what I like to do is we are going to prepare like we are making another foundation chain, pull up our loop, and we're going to pull through the first one only. Okay? And then we're going to drag our finger down here, find our tail. So when you put them together like this, you'll see that you have this circle that's not twisted or turned. So you want to make sure that when you're crocheting, how you're crocheting, so that you don't have a circle that's twisted or turned. So if you go in or if you turn them out, you just want to make sure you don't have that. So I'm going to turn it out like this and show you guys what I'm about to do. So there is a piece where we made our slip knot right here. You can adjust this. Okay, you're going to insert right here in this hole. You're going to yarn over, and you're going to make a slip stitch through the first one. So it looks like that. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we've attached them together. We're going to find the top chain, insert our hook through the top, right there through the top, yarn over, pull up a loop, and slip stitch one more time. So now we have joined our skirt in the round. So we are going to chain 2, pull this tight, so there's no holes, turn our work, and this is how I like to crochet. I turn my work after every row, and we are going to create 4 rows of straight double crochet before we increase. So my first stitch is right here. Some people use right here. I use this where it's coming out right here. And we are going to double crochet all the way around for 4 rows. And then when we come back after our 4 rows, I'm going to show you guys how I added my increases to my skirt. So we're just going to keep going around with normal double crochets until we have our 4 rows. I'm going to come back at the end of this row and show you guys how I finish off this row, chain 2, turn my work, and get started into the next row. All right, so here we are coming up on the end of our row. So we're going to insert our hook, double crochet, yarn over, insert, double crochet, yarn over. I put my last double crochet right there. That's the reason why I skipped the first one. So put my last double crochet right there. All right. Again in the top, draw up a loop, slip stitch, chain 2, turn your work. I like to actually flip my work inside out. I mean, sometimes with bigger projects it can get tedious, but that's what I like to do. So that's what I do, and that's how I get back into my rotation. So after this row, you're going to create 1 more row, and then I'm going to meet you guys on row 5, and I'm going to give you guys some explanations on what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and all that jazz moving. All right, guys, so here I am after 4 rows, and I'm about to explain to you guys what I do for my increase rows and how we're going to be increasing for the rest of this pattern. So I like to write it down so that, you know, we can like get a visual of what I'm doing and understand what I'm doing. So in this total pattern, we started off with 100 foundation chains. So that's our starting number. So we're going to write 100 here. And in order to get your number of increases, you're going to do this with whatever number you have. So if you have 120, 125, I like to do multiples of 5 because of what I do. But like, if you don't do multiples of 5, it's still going to work out fine. Like if you're if you're 2 stitches, a stitch, 3 stitches off from like increase points, it's not going to make that big of a deal in your pattern. So we started off with 100, and I want to put 5 increases throughout this whole skirt. So what I'm going to do is minus 5 from my total number, and I'm going to be left with 95. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 95 by the amount of sections I'm going to have, which is going to be 5. And I'm going to show you why it's going to be 5, because where your seam is, I split that into 2. So we're going to now divide 95 by 5. So if you wanted 4 increases in this pattern, you're going to subtract 4 from 100, get that total, and divide by 4. That's how many sections you're going to have. You're going to have 4 sections in total because you want 4 increases throughout this pattern. But I want 5 increases throughout the pattern. So that's why I have this number. And when I do that, you're going to be left with 19. So that means that in between these stitch markers, there's 19 stitches between every stitch marker. And that is how I get an even amount around. So now I'm going to show you guys what that means in my work. Okay, so this is where our seam is, and we have 19 stitches that we have to put in between where our increases are, okay? So I already marked it out, but let me explain it. So I split that original number by 2. Sometimes I have 20, sometimes I have 22, today I have 19. So 19 is not even. So what I like to do is I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the 11th stitch, I'm going to put a stitch marker. And that means this way, I'm only supposed to have 9 because that's what's going to make 19. So this counts as a stitch for me because I put stitches in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I have split my increases between my seam so that I'm going to have an even pattern all around. So now you know that between this marker and this marker is 19 stitches. And between this marker and this marker is 19 stitches. Between here and here, 19 stitches. We can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then here again, 19. And then we have 9 here. Now what makes this 5? So it makes it 5 because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this whole section is 5. So in order to make this section look like these, I have to split it. That's my technique. That's what I learned when I was crocheting. I don't see a lot of people doing it like this, but this is what I've been using for all of my years, and it works for me. So now what does that mean? Where we see these stitch markers, which is yarn for me, I'm going to put 2 double crochet, and that's how I'm going to increase. So I'm going to show you guys how I increase on the smaller swatch and then how I'm going to be increasing throughout this pattern. So this is where I'm going to be placing my increases, but I'm going to show you guys how I do it on the smaller swatch. I have turned my work, I have placed my stitch markers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double crochet till my stitch marker, and then I'm going to put 2 double crochet where my stitch marker is. So we're just going to go ahead and double crochet all the way down. My nail broke in the middle of recording this tutorial, and I'm literally like so upset about it, but we move, you know, we move, whatever. All right, so here we are at our stitch marker. So 2 double crochet right in there. That's how we increase in these patterns. 2 double crochet right in there. I like to keep my stitch markers in so I can see when I'm coming up on my double crochet after my 2 rows, but you can take yours out if you're very confident in what you're doing and you can see your double crochets. Sometimes I can't see them, so I like to keep the stitch markers in because they're a bright color and I'm able to know that I'm coming close to my increases. All right, so working our way all the way down this till our next increase. So let me show you guys one more time how we increase 2 double crochet in the same stitch. You know the deal. I'm going to keep going all the way around. I'm going to show you guys how I end my row. So I didn't mention you're going to put 2 rows of double crochet in between your increase rows. So you're going to do an increase row, then 2 rows of double crochet, then an increase row, 2 rows of double crochet. And that's how we're going to do it. We're coming up on our last stitch, and we're going to slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to turn our work. After we turn our work, we're going to find where our increases are. I like to use the second one, and I kind of just draw my finger up like that, and wherever it lands is where I'm going to put my next increase. So even if you put it here or here, it doesn't really matter. You're just trying to get the increases in the same ballpark. Sometimes when I do it and I put it here and I go over there, it kind of just like moves around, but like we just want the increases in the same ballpark. So whether it's this stitch or this stitch, I'm going to use this stitch because this is where it landed. So wherever it is where we're going to put our increase. So we're just going to go down here. All right. And this is where we're going to put our 2 double crochet. So if you want to keep moving your stitch marker, you can, to help you see like the next row moving forward. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep going around until I reach my next one, and I'm going to show you guys what I do there too. Here we are. We're going to use my finger method again. Draw up so it looks like 2 more double crochets before I increase. and then I put 2 double crochets right in there. And as we're doing this, you can see that like my increases are even throughout the pattern, and that's all I've ultimately wanted when I've been learning how to crochet on this journey. Now we have one more increase. I'm going to go ahead and do that. One more increase, and then after this row we're going to do 2 regular rows of double crochet. So like I said, we need 4 increase rows in total before we start our next move. So 4 increase rows in between 2 rows, and you want to end on your increase row. So you want to stop when you get to your 4th increase row. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do. All right guys, so here we have our rows of increase in between our regular rows of double crochet. So this is where we started, and this was 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is our last row 4. And as you guys can see, in between we have 2 regular rows in between. So we ended on an increased row. Now we're going to do straight double crochet until we have the length of our skirt. Sometimes when I get to the bottom of the skirt and I want it a little bit tighter, I will start decreasing, and I'll start decreasing right above the increases, 2 rows, decrease, kind of like that. So just flipping the opposite of what we were doing. So instead of the same space, I will use these 2 stitches that the increase is holding to decrease. So I will decrease over these 2 stitches. This skirt is really tight on me. This measures 28 inches around. The 100 would give us about 28, 27, 28. And then this with our increases measures about 35. Last one I did, I had a total of 35 rows for my skirt. Right now I have 14. So you will do 12 more rows of double crochet. And after your 12 rows, that's when you will start your decrease. So I'm going to show you guys how I do a decrease over my increases so that you guys can do that. So this is our mini swatch that we've been using. Okay, so we've chained 2, we've turned our work. Let's double crochet until we find our increase. So we're going to keep double crocheting. Yes. All right, so now we're above our increase. So let's pretend that you did your 12 rows and you're ready to decrease. You need to decrease over 2 spaces and not just increase in one like how we did here. So in order to decrease, you're just going to decrease right on top of your increases in your pattern. So you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, wrap your yarn, pull through 2, wrap your yarn, insert, pull up another loop, pull through 2, then pull through all 3. That's how I decrease. Some people decrease differently. I don't like skipping stitches because I can see the hole every time I skip a stitch. So this is how I decrease. So just pretend you did 12 more rows and you're ready to decrease. So you're going to decrease all around, and then you're going to put 2 rows in between your next decreases. The last pattern I did 3 rows of decrease. So decrease, 2 rows, decrease, 2 rows, decrease. And that's how I finished the pattern. And all of that added up to be 35. So however you guys do your rows and all of that is up to you. I kind of just give you guys the blueprint so that we can crochet together. All right, guys, so now I have worked my 12 rows of regular double crochet until I am ready to decrease. So here we are. This is where we indicated for our increases. So we can find our increases moving along. They're roughly in the same ballpark. What I like to do, it's very like just guesstimating kind of business. I take my finger from this point and I just move it up. So I'm going to choose these 2 as my decrease. They don't have to be perfect. We just want them in the same vicinity. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet and then I'm going to decrease over the next 2 stitches. We're going to insert our hook and we're going to double crochet. Now we're going to decrease over these 2 stitches. So we're going to insert, pull up, wrap our yarn, pull through 2, wrap our yarn, insert, pull up, wrap your yarn, pull through 2, wrap your yarn, pull through all 3. If you decrease differently, you can go ahead and decrease however you like to in this pattern. but I'm just going to do a decrease row all the way around. All right, guys, so we have finished our skirt now. So I did everything that I said I was. I had my 12 rows. I started my decrease row right here. It's my 12. Decrease, skip 2, decrease, skip 2, decrease. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.